Hey everyone, it's me, the Love Goddess Yvette Dream Johnson from Ms.Atlanta Thick Dream.com on another sexy, sacred September sensual Saturday. We're in September the 28th, 2024, the last Saturday of September. Can y'all believe that? Wow. Well, I had to come here with a question, a topic that's been floating about on my TikTok live and also through my DM and my email. And also, I wanted to bring it up again from a love goddess perspective, real quick. Just real quick. You got time for it? Okay, cool, 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 cool. And the topic is from my DM. Dum, dum, dum. Threesomes. Mm-hmm. That topic again. We're going to revisit it, okay? For someone who's never had a threesome, and me and my fine 49, I have grown adult children. What would be my tips, my advice to them if they ask me about threesomes? First, I would sit them down like an adult person, not as mom, as the intimacy coach, the love goddess that I am, the yummy being that I am, okay? I would talk to them from that point of view, not my own ego. Would I share personal experiences? Absolutely. Not in full detail, but I will. And I'm going to share it with you, okay? Because some young individual in his 20s asked me through my DM on Instagram about threesomes. He's never had one, and I'm going to answer his question for other youngins, all right? Millennials and Gen Zs. Is it Gen Z? I don't know. But 20 somethings, okay? So, threesomes, one, it takes maturity. You hear me? Maturity. So if you do not have maturity, but you are in an adult sexual relationship, that's cool. But you still have to be mature. Did I say that? So if you lack maturity, meaning can you handle having other bodies present around you while you're in the nude, while y'all getting it in, are you okay with it? And are you the one presenting the threesome? Are you in a relationship? Are you single? Those are things that you have to factor in. Are you just single and mingling out here, fluttering about, and you have multiple girlfriends or guy friends that you would like to experience plural loving at one time? You have to be mature to present that type of scenario to them. And I say present it to them because one, consent in being open and having communication around sex, around relationship, around intimacy is important. Okay. So maturity, you got to have that. If you have not reached an age of maturization, meaning maturity where you cannot talk about sex with the people that you are, sharing your body with, you might want to delay that right now. And even older, mature fellas, if you cannot have a conversation with the people that you are sharing your body with about intimacy, plural loving, you might want to wait until you are capable of having a close on conversation. Not after we just had a good afternoon of lunchtime loving and you want to talk about bringing in a third or having, a nice little thing going on with another person. No, we're going to talk about that with the clothes on, perhaps preferably before we have festivities, before we have sex. Okay. That's important because sex and the high from it, our mindset sometimes is not always as clear. Okay. So it's best to do it before you have intimacy, before the clothes get removed. Right. And before you are in an intimate setting, I think it's better. Those endorphins and that rush, that feeling is not there that it would be after you had a nice yummy climax. So the maturity, one. Two, you ready for this? You ready? You have to decide if you are mature enough. You have to decide, are you going to have a same sex type of threesome? That means if you are a male, are you okay with having other peen in the room? And are you and the other peen, are y'all interacting with y'all peens with, with the woman there? Or is it going to be another woman with your partner or your homie lover friend? All right. Is it going to be her? How are you going to do this in your threesome? You have to decide. Are you comfortable? Are you confident in that? Remember, you have maturity. Okay. You have to decide. That's right. You have to decide. Are you able to do that with the other bodies? Because if you don't have the confidence, the maturity, then a threesome is definitely not for you. And also, I have to state what is so important. When you are doing threesomes, make sure everyone has been tested. Of course, you know that already. Everyone has been tested, and preferably, I would say this. I have to say this. Unless y'all into that type of thing, like not her best friend or his best friend or whatever. But if, once again, that's what I said, number one, the maturity comes into place. If you are mature enough for y'all to extend y'all love bubble to a best friend, a homeboy, okay, that's fine. That's fine. Who did I do my threes with? My additional loving, my plural loving, fleshtivity situations with? For the very first time, I did it with a brother cousin situation. I know y'all like, what? You just said no, 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 no. I don't think that they were biological brothers. I think they called each other brothers, okay? Did I verify that? No. But they were mature enough to handle all three of us being in the same room. And my partner invited his brother in on our fleshtivities. So he was already confident and we were already open dating and relating. We were not in a mono type of relationship. See the difference? See the difference? And the other time that I've had a threesome was with someone who I had a relationship and the relationship had already went south. And as a favor to one of my dancers at the time, I allowed him and her to, get it in. And I participated lightly. Let's just say that, lightly. That means I allowed them to, all three of us, to get warmed up together. And at some point, I left for them to handle their thing. And I'm not going to get into that type of scenario. That is not one of the scenarios. I, as an advocate, I, as Love Goddess, I, as a hetero, sexual goddess, I would not want to do that type of scenario again. I'm saying that right now. And I don't want to get into that story time with that particular individual nor that scenario. But I would advise against it. Okay. So, and the next time that I had a three-way was it really a three-way? It was more like a pleasure pod, if you will, because there was no type of penetration involved at all. None. That means they did not go in. Well, actually, wait a minute. Let me sip my tea. Wait a minute. Full transparency here. Hold on. Let me sip my kombucha in my tea first. Hold on. Okay, so, no, it was at an adult party. I was part of a poly family at the time. And it was a pleasure type of experience where I allowed people to pleasure themselves and watch me. Nothing went into my back door. Nothing went into my Sheila, my yoni at all. Now, I do not recall, because that's been almost 2 decades ago, almost, when this happened. So I don't recall if I gave head service during that time. I don't recall to someone. But there were, and I'm going to paint the picture real quick. Okay, we're just going to go there real quick, okay? So I was laying down, and there was men at my feet, men at my side, men at my other side, and someone standing over there. So perhaps maybe, I did give him some lingam, love him, okay, some brain. I almost want to think that, or maybe I gave him a hand job, okay? I don't know. Maybe if he's out there, he can tell me, because I don't recall. So there were several men standing around me, watching me and pleasuring themselves. That is not a threesome, but that's what I like to call a pleasure pod. We were at an adult party at the time. And again, no one went into my yoni, my Sheila. for this particular display. I want to say display. I know I could have used a better word, but yeah, this particular, yeah, it's a display. But anyway, and what else do I have to say about threesomes? You have time, and sometimes they could be highly overrated. I know you're like, what? What you mean overrated? Because if you're doing it to please your partner and you're not into threesomes, and you just want to see what it's like, because you only live once and you just want to see what it's like, what you don't want to do is go in when your relationship is already on shaky foundation. If you have a partner who has low self-esteem, um, not confident in the bedroom already, my love, would not recommend you presenting having a threesome with them. Seriously. It would take too much coaxing. It would take too much of a hand being held within it. I would not recommend that at all. Any type of unconventional type of hooking up or festivities and stuff. Um, when you're bringing in other people, I would advise no, not until you work on that foundation. You got to work on home first, baby, before you bring in other bodies. Okay, because what you don't want to do is bring someone in and it gets really weird and your main thing has a potential of being shattered. That's what you don't want to do. All for what? To fulfill a fantasy, to stroke your ego, to see if, you know what I mean? If you could do this with multiple partners. And a lot of times, I'm being honest, fellas, I love you so much. Can I say that? I love you so much. Some men cannot handle multiple women in the bedroom. They cannot. They don't have the stamina. They don't have the concentration to take care of equally pleasure-wise women. Um, what type of threesomes do I prefer? The ones where I'm getting pleasured. The one where my pleasure is being centered. So is a threesome ideally for me? It depends on if it's done right. Absolutely. Would I revisit doing threesomes again? It's not something I can go the rest of my life without having a threesome. Seriously. It can be overrated sometimes. And then there are other times where it's absolutely splendid. It's a big love bubble and everybody's, getting what they came to receive. Then that's perfect, darling. That's perfect. So you have time if you're in your 20s, even if you're in your late 40s, you have time. You have time. I wouldn't rush it. I wouldn't pressure anyone to be in a threesome. And also, I'm going to say that the last but not least, yes, I did have a loving situation with someone who I had set up an actual threesome with or for, where I was interviewing women and he wouldn't dare do it with a man. He just didn't want to do that. But he wanted me to interview women to bring in this three-way. And I started putting scenarios, interviewing people and putting things together for it. And it never happened. He never showed the fuck up. And it was almost embarrassing because I asked my spiritual sister, would she do it? Because she is polyamorous. And I had to tell y'all this. Just because someone is polyamorous does not mean that they're open to swinging and doing impromptu threesomes with you and your girlfriend. Okay, you got to ask people first, not to assume. Just like you cannot assume just because I have a polyamorous heart that I am open to being in a unicorn situation with another couple. No, because ideally, I want my own. I have the ability to love multiple people. Yes, I do, but I want my own. I want my own. And if we decide to open our relationship or if we decide to mingle with others at some point, that's fine. And if we don't, that's okay too. Okay? So y'all get where I'm coming from with this whole threesome thing? It's good when it's done in a healthy, mature way. And we can sit down and talk about it. But I'm not going to rant and rave. If you have any more questions, I'm not going to go on and on about it. If you have any more questions, comments, concerns, feel free to DM me here or email me at thickdreamproductions@gmail.com. Once again, that is thickdreamproductions@gmail.com. Ms.Atlanta Thick Dream signing off on this sexy and sacred, sensual Saturday, September the 28th. I love you all. Bye. And take care of your energy. Bye, baby. I love you.